festivals, cultural orientation, and travel. Every Thursday, 10:10 a.m. with Frank Meke and Bᴜɪ̀bádé Adéníjì on Mainland 98.3 FM. Sponsored by Anchor Insurance, where insurance truly works.
One minute don't come out from 10 o'clock this morning. No. But I want to welcome you especially to another episode of Creative Nigeria. I thought I would pull that off well, but it came out very wrong. But can I say a very good morning to us out there? Welcome to another episode of Creative Nigeria. This is the show that brings you all things culture, creativity, tourism, travel, and everything on that spectrum. You get it on this show. My name is Bᴜɪ̀bádé Adéníjì, and I do the show alongside Frank Meke. Frank is in the house. Can I say a very big good morning to you, Frank, and welcome home.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Bᴜɪ̀.
From all the Ajala traveling.
Mo is harassing me with some smile. So I'm back and I'm good. Our listeners, I'm back here, and today we won't be talking where I went. We're just talking something else. But it's good to back home. Nigeria will always be Nigeria. One wonderful place that would never other place that you can get on earth. So if you're a Nigerian, be proud of Nigeria. Bumi, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Everybody, as listeners. As we used to do it, we are back on it again.
Yeah, we're back on it again. And it's a full house, I must tell you. You want to see what the full house looks like? You can head to Facebook and YouTube. Just type in at Mainland 98.3 and you will find us there. You'll watch everything going on live in the studio this morning, because I have a whole panel, and we're here to talk serious business. It's been 2 years. This time last week we were celebrating 2 years of this administration, and it's always good to go back and just do an assessment. This is like half term, it's half term. Incidentally, today for Lagos State schools and so many other states as well, it is open day, which means that it is half term for them as well. So it's half term. We want to dissect the goings on in especially the industry in this sector, and we have just the right panel, the best panel in the world history, and evidentially it will process where we are and indeed for our industry. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu indeed responded to our desire and quest for an intentional and deliberate support to our cultural tourism economy, appointing two very beautiful women to head the then Ministries of Tourism and another for Culture, Arts and Creative Economy. Unfortunately, the two came to our space unprepared, for a standalone tourism ministry collapsed and the minister was sacked in the first assessment of ministers by the president. Determined to reciprocate our love for he took it seriously and possibly convinced that in the emerging global tourism business, diversity of opportunities and experiences births a successful destination marketing, and Nigeria bridling with diverse cultural tourism opportunities, beautiful landscapes, abundant green biosphere space and wildlife, vast coastlines with surreal manifestations, and a demographic power base. Culture indeed must be our key to unlock the abundant tourism experiences. The president, in his wisdom, then handed the baton to lead the sector to Hannatu Musa Musawa. Against our expectations, we accepted the president's position and waited for a change. Faithful and patient, praying for a new dawn. After 2 years, we have nothing to be cheerful about. We shouted and grumbled and waited for the president to kick out Hannatu Musa Musawa, the troubler of the Israel of cultural tourism opportunities. If the president can, without mercy, give Lola Adejon a red card, why keep the worst of the pack in Hannatu Musa Musawa? On this beat, We believe Hannatu Musa Musawa does not have the capacity, experience, and strategy to unlock the critical values in the industry, but has rather visited us with the massive propaganda. However, we invited a cross-section of industry stakeholders to serve as a jury of peers to evaluate the 2 years of this administration in cultural, tourism, and creative economy, and to tell us what actually is the problem with Nigeria's attitude and policy direction. And we will just hear a quick hello from him. Good morning to you, Prince.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Great to have you.
What a wonderful day it will be.
Looking forward to it myself. We also have in the house, though, we also have Andrew Okunbowa, a travel editor with the Telegraph newspapers. He also, he's a member of ANJET, NUJ Lagos Council, and he's the immediate past chief press secretary to former governor.
Invited to this forum, and good morning to our listeners all over the country and across the world. And I also want to say welcome to my colleagues on the table.
Right. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation to be here. Also here is Mr. Okorie Uguru, Acting President, Association of Tourism Writers of Nigeria, and he's also the publisher, Africa Travel Herald. Good morning to you, sir.
Have a big year, and good morning, our listener. I'm already smiling the whole tone.
We also have in the house Otumba Michael Balogun. He is the secretary, Nigeria Association of Tour Operators. He's also an accomplished tour operator. He's also the CEO of Tour to Nigeria, multi-award winning domestic tour packaging company based in Lagos. Good morning, Otumba.
Thank you very much, ma'am, and thank you for having me here with this gentleman. And I know it's going to be a very, very explosive day today, sitting down and listening to the tone of the
opponent with substantial experience in inter-African tourism and travel economy. Hopefully, we should be able to get him on the phone lines as well. Finally, Mr. George Lucky, Executive Secretary of Africa Travel Commission, and he will join us via the phone lines from Nsukka, Southeast Nigeria. Our studio lines for the first time shall be opened after we have heard from our jury. You can listen live and, like I said before, and join the conversation through the Radio Garden and scroll down to Mainland Radio 98.3 FM Lagos. All our social media handles and that of Mainland Radio, they are all open this morning for business, for your contributions through WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a very tight schedule, as you can imagine. So we beg to make your contributions, via the phone lines, especially as short and as, concise and precise as possible. Also, please, hospitality nuggets, movies on radio if we can. And, well, this is very important, Yoruba poetry. And let's hear from her this morning. We have in the house Adeshola Akewi. Good morning to you, darling. Thank you. That was amazing. That deserves a round of applause all by itself. Thank you. That's creativity in action right there. And I'll talk more about her if we have time. But she's not new to the show. I'm sure regular listeners would recognize her. Right. So other segments we promise will return next week. And of course, our new segment sponsored by Sehem's Travels will be part of his awesome show today. Welcome to Creative Nigeria and good morning.
You are the best, the very, very best. You make our world go round. This is why we'll always be your anchor.
At Anchor Insurance, we will always turn up for our clients when it really matters. We put in 100% because they mean the world to us. If you desire insurance services built around you, where claims are paid promptly, then come to Anchor Insurance.
Oh, you are the best. This is why we'll always be our anchor.
Anchor Insurance, where insurance truly works.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned with us. Joining us via the phone lines right now is Mrs. Susan Akporiaye. She's the immediate past president of NANTA. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good to be with you this morning.
It's good to have you in the midst of us because it's a panel of gentlemen this morning. I'm happy to have a female on the panel, howbeit virtually. So let's head straight into it because, you know, time is our enemy on this show. Now, my question to you this morning, ma'am, is as an industry Amazon and, you know, tested stakeholder, do you think that the minister, Hannatu Musa Musawa, is the Messiah to take us to the promised land?
Bumi, if this is the setup, I think you got this. Absolutely, I do not think so. I mean, it's a woman, and you know me, Bumi, I'm always for women, supporting women. But that doesn't mean we should tell ourselves the truth. We shouldn't tell ourselves the truth when we have the opportunity. I think she's just doing the same mistake all of them keep doing. Tourism is a very unique sector, yeah, and the players need to be involved for it to sink in the head of our government that tourism sector that you just go and read, but without the sector involvement. Forget the Nigerian tourism show. All these years, decades upon decades upon decades. I know people that have been doing it even before I was gone. And people are still doing it. So she needs to do more of private sector engagement. I really don't know who they're listening to. I think it's always the problem of who they're listening to. They need to start listening to the right people that are selfless, people that is all about the industry and Nigeria.
Thank you so much. I think you hit the nail on the head. But, you know, is there a way, you know, to just get back from what is seemingly, you know, lost opportunities? How do you feel?
Oh, yes. It's not a lost cause. It is not. I mean, no matter how far you have gone, you can retrace your steps back. If only you are humble and you can admit that, oh, I've done this all along on my own and I'm going on the right direction. I mean, look at the story of the prodigal son. Yeah? I mean, humanly speaking, I mean, it was a lost cause. And even the boy didn't think the father would ever take him back. So there's never a lost cause situation as long as people are alive. Once there is life, there is hope. It's those that are dead that you can say, oh, their situation is finished, nothing more. So there is room to admit, oh, I've been pushing this in the wrong direction. Now I want to come back. Hey, guys, industry people, I know you have approached me. Now I'm willing to listen to you. We will embrace her with us. It doesn't have anything to do with her as a person. So it's I don't know her from anywhere until she became the minister from culture, now tourism. So people should go beyond seeing it as an individual, but the office is supposed to be all about the office, not whoever sits there. And it depends on who sits there. We should be able to, the person, you know, there's a lot of humility that leadership should carry. Yeah, leadership consulted the wrong people, so it's not a lost cause. It is not a lost cause. It's still very virgin, and there is still great hope.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Madam Susan Akporiaye. Always on point. Thank you so much. I need to move on to other members of the panel now to just, you know, continue this conversation. And well, I had a volunteer, you know, to carry on from where you stopped, ma'am, and that is from Okorie Uguru. Now, does Nigeria have a sustainable tourism policy?
You mean a laid down policy that probably can move from one, it's a continuation. Now, the question is, where are we in terms of tourism in this country? I was thinking over it because I was supposed to be in this panel.
Yeah.
So I was thinking over it. Let's do it this way. The current administration came on board in 2023. Let's remove all the grammars. Let's remove all the promises and all the rest. 2023, Musawa has been on the saddle culture from August 2023 to now. She added the tourism portfolio in November, roughly about 8 months. Okay, so the question is, where are we in 2023 and where are we now? What has changed? We have had a lot of destination 2030. We've had a lot of getting Afrasian Bank $200 million. Is it $billion? Frank, you should know better. And so on. But if we remove all these stories, if we remove all these promises, if we remove all this grammar, what have we added to tourism in the last 2 years? It's as simple as that. If we've added anything, that means there has been an achievement. If there is nothing, we can say this is what has been added to tourism outside the grammar, outside the promises. It's a practical thing. Like my Oga Otumba it says practical tourism. Now it's practical. This is from May 2023 to now. What has been the addition to tourism? Then if you have any, we've achieved. If there's nothing, then all this grammar is nothing.
I'm just going to add something to that question for you. And that is, let's take a look at funding, industry funding.
Okay.
Where is the private sector not getting support and encouragement from government?
Okay. It's a two-way thing. If you get to those in government, they'll tell you that the sector, especially the ministries, they've not had adequate funding. There might be some truth in that. Are you getting me? But it's when you engage, like Madam Suzanne, former president of NANTA, said, it's when you engage with the private sector, you know the problem of the industry, and then you can now channel and then chart a new course on how you can collaborate and see how to approach the government for funding. But when you're doing things in silo, you're doing things on your own, the private sector doesn't know where you're heading to. So how does that work? That's the issue.
I think Frank wants to come in here. Okay, we carry on. Okay, so because we have a whole jury today, I'm going to move on to the next member of our... has this administration delivered yet on culture and tourism? And what is the way forward?
You want the truth?
Truth, sir.
The whole truth. Nothing but the truth, so help me God. As long as, the Bible says that, as long as the servant is riding a horse and the prince is walking, a lot of things are not going to go the way it should. Sincerely, it's a bit disheartening. If the governments from 2023, they could beam a searchlight on oil sector, they could build a searchlight on the economic sector. Why can't they beam the same light into tourism? Because the truth is, and you're saying about funding, the funding aspect of it is not that. When you look at the content itself on the local level, the players, is traditional sector, the local government, and the private sector. Now, if you beam it more into it and create what I call a mafia clique. Now, going back to the ministerial sector, it's sad. Picking the wrong people to man the sector. And as long as they keep on doing that, not at all. Or not on tourism.
Okay.
Maybe on subsidy, but not on tourism.
Meanwhile, we're here to discuss tourism, the culture and tourism sector. Okay, well, let's take a break. Let's give ourselves a little, breather. It's getting hot in here. So let's take a break, a tea break of sorts. And then when we come back, we'll continue from here.
Yeah, I'm a
Welcome back. And the coming up right now is our hospitality segment with Justina Ovat. So you want to stay tuned and hear that.
Hello, and welcome to another refreshing episode of Hospitality Nuggets with Justina Ovat, where we explore the heart and soul of service, one insight at a time. Today's episode is titled, Hospitality is not just a job, it's a passion for creating happiness and comfort. Let me say that again. Hospitality is not just a job, it's a passion for making people feel safe, seen, and satisfied. It's a deep desire to create happiness, comfort, and connection wherever we serve. Now, I know many of us entered the industry because we needed a job or it seemed like a quick way to earn, but something magical happens when you stay long enough, learn deeply, and serve wholeheartedly. You discover that real hospitality is rooted in purpose. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I stayed at a modest hotel. The rooms were basic, but very clean. What stood out was the housekeeping lady. After discovering I don't like drinking a lot of water, she took it upon herself to remind me to drink more water every time she sees me. She says, "Don't forget to drink water, ma." Now, that wasn't part of her job description. She just wanted me to feel noticed and encouraged. And do you know what? I still remember her kindness more than anything else in that hotel. That's the power of passion in hospitality. It goes beyond the checklist. So, what sets passionate service apart from routine service? Number one, empathy. Truly passionate hospitality begins with empathy. The ability to put yourself in your guest's shoes. It's hearing what they are not saying, noticing the tired look on their face, or adjusting the room temperature because you sense they're uncomfortable. Number two, attention to detail. Passion reveals itself in small things. The crispness of the napkin, the welcome smile, the handwritten note, the extra napkin placed for a mother with kids. Number three, joy in service. When service is done with joy, it shows. Guests feel it. Team members feel it. It becomes contagious. Number four, consistency. Passion doesn't show up only when the GM is watching or when guests complain. Passionate people serve with excellence even when no one is clapping. A friend in the industry once told me, "Justina, the moment I saw a tired guest smile back after I simply remembered his name, I knew I wasn't just doing the job, I was touching lives." Here's what you must remember. True hospitality is invisible until it's missing. Let your passion fill the gap where procedures end and human connections begin. Until next time, stay passionate, stay human, and keep creating comfort wherever you go. Over to you, Frank and Bumi.
Thank you so much, Justina. Indeed, we should create comfort wherever we go. And that's really the business of, tourism and the culture economy. However, are we creating that comfort here? Well, as we come back, I see that we have a message on WhatsApp from Fidelis. He says, "Good morning all. Tourism. It's fine. It's an industry that can earn Nigeria lots of money, but there is no tourism without discussing security of lives and property." So thank you, Fidelis, for that. Brings another, aspect of this conversation alive. But I'm going to lead out this conversation again with Otumba Michael Balogun. Now, our demographic, power base is being effectively utilized to drive domestic tourism and process employment and revenue gains. But what do you think that this and where you are concerned? So that's the question this morning.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen in the studio. First, I would like to say tourism is a low-hanging fruit, and it has a lot of moving parts. And to say from all what the gentlemen have said this morning, I'm just going to say this. I don't think we've done enough to engage, we in the private sector, in the tourism industry. To start with, tourism doesn't even exist in isolation.
True.
It doesn't. And this is the part this administration have gotten totally wrong from the get-go. I sit here as the secretary to the Nigerian Association of Tour Operators. I represent a full body of domestic tour operators, inbound and outbound. And for a whole 2 years, we've not had a sit down with the minister. The last minister, Madam Lola Dejon, at least she showed a little, interaction with the private sector through some of the engagements we had. We had our AGM in Kwara State. She was there. She's been around some of these destinations with some of our members and other stakeholders. But on the federal level, I don't think we are even seen. And, when you hear the minister and people in the government industries talking about Destination Nigeria 2030, this one, having events, remember that, who are the real people pushing this narrative? It's the tour operators. Nobody. The Nigerian government don't even have a DMC to sell all these narratives they've been pushing. So who sells it? So it makes some of us, unpatriotic to say you've been pushing and promoting Nigeria for the last, I've been doing this business for the last 15 years. I have multiple, they had this national tourism summit at Cocoa Beach. And it was like a joke. Because I have a huge followership on my LinkedIn and people were saying, we were expecting to see people like you at that event. We didn't even get an invite. We've never had an invite to sit on the table with the minister. So how do we channel all our grievances to this sector if we can't even have
the ears of the minister?
Yes. We've had events. We've been invited to Uganda, for their tourism expo. It shows the value what we do. But back home, we're always at the back burner. It's always like we are being bullied. I've never even met the minister for one day. I've worked in partnership with the Nigerian Economic Summit group. We were part of the people that did the National Tourism Review, just to put so much passion in what we're doing as patriots. And then the following 2 weeks, the ministry was dissolved. So when people talk about this word sustainability, I think it has been overflowed. There's nothing sustainable in any of these things anymore. So if he creates a policy today, and the minister that is in charge of this is taken away, that means you're going to go. Exactly. And then the new minister, it shows she's more passionate about the creative industry while the tourism is on the back burner. And until we can let them get this holistic picture that we have to sit down. There's this thing called the Dutch diamond approach, where everybody in the sector, in the ecosystem needs to sit down. From the data analysts, the statistics, the knowledge-based people, the tourism, the NGOs. That is when you can form a real ecosystem. Right now, it is not healthy. It is almost like we're just fighting. In the next 2-4 years, she goes away, somebody else comes in, and then they start all over again. That is why there's never a continuity in this sector.
I think continuity is actually key. It's one of the most important things. You can't start, stop, and expect that industry to thrive. Ends on this beat. Can you tell us critical areas of failings and that.
Thank you so much for that question. It's a quite a compulsive one, maybe you take our aspect. Now I'm going to tie that down to us as a nation, the way we'll be developing, because we are treating tourism in isolation. Our world or countries that are tourism serious, tourism is not treated in isolation. It's an encompassing. I use the word there. It's an omnibus. And the way this present ministry is done, Anatu is supposed to be a super minister. If she understood properly what she's doing. Not the finance minister. Not the CBN. Anatu is supposed to be the super minister, and that does the president. What do I mean by that? We have to put tourism at the top in terms of our philosophy. What drives our economy? Dynamics and interplay of creating a national ecosystem, we just still going to be playing alone. And you don't have the resources that you need to build tourism. The resources that we need in any state to build tourism is all over. And you are not be able to enhance that resources or the personnel because you see yourself as a tiny cockroach. Whereas you are the bigger elephant in the room that people should be clogging around. So if the government does not understand that, we expect that whoever is the minister to understand that and say, hey, killing in Plateau, they are killing in Benue. As our Minister of Tourism one day visited, as she one day made a statement, as she one day gone to the Chief of Staff, to the Chief of Defense and say, Oga, this can't continue. Whatever politics we are doing, put it behind you. I want to sell my tourism. Benue State is the full basket of this country. And they have one of the most recognized. We don't do that. We don't celebrate it. Dancing, music is in Benue. Plateau, their cultural elements are so unique. I'm just looking at that.
Yeah.
Just to tell you why. That could have stopped our war.
Mm-hmm.
Right from Obasanjo, no, not even Obasanjo. Obasanjo was just exited when this Boko Haram started.
Yeah.
Right from the state that it started, they have some of the richest tourism assets in this country. But nobody is looking at that. Everybody just concentrating on the small micro tourism, ministry. So Anatu should sit back and ask herself, it's all shambles. She's talking about programs. There's no one single reference point to say we have done this but ability. We don't sustain, we use and dump. So when Anatu leaves today, tomorrow, all those things she has outlined. ADB, the African Development Bank is not just going to give you money. They have told you they will give, but you need to show your workings. Sure. No, this doesn't work with us. And of course, they are going to supervise the fund. Mm-hmm. So those things are in the book. We are talking about long term that you will not be able to achieve. In the short term, what has she achieved? Zero. In the middle term, nothing. So the long term is a mirage.
Okay. To vent their minds. And at this point, I want Frank to actually say something. But I appreciate the fact that we are just not satisfied. And I think as the moderator of this panel this morning, I'd like to just say that as a conclusion, one of the conclusive statements from the things that we have said. This is an ongoing thing. It's going to be an ongoing thing. Getting the half-term report of, the ministry so far.
Something that everybody knows that I hold some critical view. You can't have sustainability when you don't have a policy. And when you have sustainability, you must have responsibility.
Yeah.
So when those things are missing, so we're just kind of playing we want to do. Soon, we just want to invite people to come and do festival. That's the only achievement. That's terrible. And for all they have said on this beat, just simply say, they are wrong person in the wrong place. So you don't know why they're holding it down. I don't understand. This lady is just not it. That's the truth of the matter. So no matter what you prefer here today, Hannah is not willing to listen. She takes pleasure, okay, in walking on the aisle, okay. Of course, she's a pretty lady. Unfortunately, she's not even selling her beauty. Our children are looking for jobs that we should have provided. We're talking about look at what Andrew said, okay, the security content of tourism. You're not even taking it as a minister. Look, I've been asked up to this one in the past 3 weeks. But you need to look, people just say, look, Nigeria is just the place because of our diversity. They tell you, your music, your sports. I wasn't talking. Everybody just simply because we want to do Nigeria 2030. Okay, we went there and we said, look, this is our problem. We can't enter Turkey too. They said, okay, in 2 weeks, last 2 weeks, the ambassador here said, okay, we're going to release the visa regulation. What have we responded? No, because we don't have a minister that can key into what is going on. So for me, it's just so sad. So let's just take it.
We need to talk to Mr. George now.
Just take it.
Because these, like I said, they're ongoing conversations. We keep it going. Yes. And if we don't stay on it, some people get away with the wrong things, So Mr. George Lucky is joining us via the phone lines right now. Good morning to you, sir. But yes,
No, that's fine.
quick one. Now, you have followed the United Nations tourism politics for a long time. Now, what has Nigeria as a country benefited from hosting the UN tourism for a record 5th time? And please help us to describe the leadership of Hannatu Musa Musawa on the industry.
Okay, just a quick one. The tourism politics of the UN and, of course, the Nigerian hosting several UNWTO programs has not yielded any results. I think the previous ministers and the previous directors in the ministry, they have a panache for hosting events. And every time they go out, they want to prove to the rest of Africa that Nigeria is a giant of Africa. We have free money to throw around. And therefore, they bid for every event industry. So that has been the style over the years.
Thank you so much for that contribution. But a final question to you. In the industry is...
The ministry and the agencies, those are the people, because the president cannot be everywhere all the time. So he has delegated his power to the Minister of Tourism. So therefore, the responsibility, the failure, and the success lies straight with the minister. So the president, yes, he has done the right thing by that brought us a minister whom they christen as the savior of tourism industry. Unfortunately, she came, she had issues, and of course, the tourism industry ministry was eventually scrapped. So it's a terrible thing that has befallen tourism over the years. And again, I want to say most sincerely that we will continue to ask for a separate ministry, because this minister as it stays now is overwhelmed with almost 15 parasitas. So there is no way any of the parasitas under her can get the best out of her, and that is exactly what we're witnessing. She only showed up to major events. She is not involved in the nitty-gritty, in the planning, in the evaluation of issues. She was only given a file, madam, we have bidded for this, and this is good for us by the directors, and she signed up to it, and she ran. I travel by road across Nigeria all the time. Why cannot Nigeria, a country of 200 million people, do not have a minister of federal highways? We should have. And that brings attention to that specific aspect of our tourism industry, so that federal highways are maintained. If you repair all the federal highways, if you patch them up, I can tell you movement within an intrastate across the country will be better. So these are some of the things we need to think about. But unfortunately, the economists are always saying, oh, Nigeria has no business having too many ministers. What we are losing for not having certain ministers are far much more than what we gain for having limited ministers. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. George Lucky. He is the Executive Secretary of Africa Travel Commission, and we want to say a very big thank you. We know that your time was short, but of worms that we would not have enough time to delve into in this show today. We'll have another show to be able to deal with all of that. But I mean, great conversation we've had so far. We will take a break now to just, go through industry news and then panelists this morning. So our new segment is sponsored by Sehem's Travels.
Do you know that travel is the world's biggest vocation? Do you also know that you can be guided to make it a lifestyle? At Sehem's Travel Agency, we deliberately help you plan your travel itinerary for business, education, vacation, health, tourism, and logistics. That's not all. At Sehem's Travels, we provide opportunities for study abroad experience with visa assistance and other advisory services on foreign education requirements unparalleled anywhere.
Do you want premium travel experience? We are big on charter flights.
If you truly desire to enjoy your trip as a lifestyle, then call us or visit us at Sehem's Travels, number 8, Gashua Close, Area 8, Garki, Abuja, or our Lagos area office at the Excellence Place, 30A Oladimeji Law Street, off Freedom Way, opposite Vest, Lekki Phase 1. Telephone
Lagos 080-90-80-3030 or Abuja 090-8058-9150.
Social media handles info@sehemstravels.com or www.sehemstravels.com.
Sehem's Travels, bridging horizons through travel.
Welcome back. I want to thank everyone for staying tuned. We intended to open our phone lines for phone calls. However, because our time is fast spent, we'll open the phone lines for WhatsApp messages. Please engage with us on our social media handles. You can also drop us a message on WhatsApp right now on 091 36000 430. That's 091 36000 430, and we will read your messages loud and here on air. And here is our culture, technology, festivals, travels, hospitality, music, movies, brown water economy, insurance news, and sports tourism with Sehem's Travels, edited by Frank Meke. President Ahmed Bola Tinubu on the 29th of May revealed that Nigeria may hold a motherland festival soon, but didn't elaborate on it. Tongues are wagging over the fact that that festival shares the same operational expectations, and that is worrisome. Motherland by former Minister of Tourism Lola Adejon and later introduced to Hannatu Musa. However, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism recently claimed that it's partnering with a certain Discover Motherland and Africa Limited to drive the Motherland Festival, fueling uncertainties over which two firms came to the table with a Motherland initiative. Discover Motherland and Africa Limited was registered on the 11th of February 2025 after Akimbo Boye visited the minister to seek collaboration. Meanwhile, Nigeria's emergency response capacity was tested during a Mokwa, Niger State flooding, which claimed several lives and left the environment in a terrible state. Also, our investment profile on sports business got shattered by an accident involving the Kano team returning from national sports games in Abeokuta, Ogun State, when their rickety bus plunged into a nearby bush, with most of the athletes dead on the spot. A lone survivor alleged that the bus broke down severally on the highway before the eventual crash. While the governors and eminent Nigerians are falling over themselves with messages of commiseration to the families of the dead athletes, none so far has promised to invest in proper logistics for the movement and transportation of Nigerian sportsmen and women. What a tragedy. And still on the crash, the Federal Road Safety Commission has blamed overspeeding and fatigue for the bus crash, which took the lives of Kano athletes during the weekend. UAE has been elected the new Secretary General of United Nations Tourism. She eclipsed other contestants to the prestigious position, largely fueled by the financial and diplomatic muscles of the Arab nation. Sheikha is the first female occupier of a UN tourism seat in its history. Back home in Nigeria, Nigerian small and medium-scale enterprises will be availed opportunities to learn new trade skills in packaging and branding to enable them to compete effectively in the emerging Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. Nigeria Focal Agency in charge of the growth and monitoring of these strategic business opportunities, the Small and Medium Scale Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, says the training of the Nigerian business owners and founders is geared towards unlocking hidden opportunities found in the $3 trillion and $1.3 billion consumers linked with the single continental trade market. And finally, in our news this morning, Saudi Arabia has joined other countries with powerful trade and employment markets, slamming a total freeze to halt inbound labor and job opportunities during the Hajj pilgrimage circles. Nigeria and 6 other African countries were targeted by the suspension of block work visas permits, which allows Saudi Arabia employers to hire a predetermined number of foreign, particular one that we can pick out.
Let me just talk about the after-thing and job, opportunities in Nigeria or in Africa. Looking at a country, on my way back at the airport, I see people, both employers and immigration. I'm not saying, I will use the word smuggling. They move the Chinese. They're moving them into the country in numbers. Jobs that Nigeria should have been able to do, they bring them here. Okay, and because they believe they have their, and these are just, in fact, Nigerians are more better. So other countries all over the world are protecting their economy Look at what Trump is doing. But we're not doing the same. Yeah, the president said, let's go consume Nigeria. But how many are we actually doing that? Okay, sports tourism, for instance. That's why Nigeria is so diverse. In Gambia, they say, look, if Nigeria don't wake up, Africa will never wake up. And that's the truth, because our diversity is so much. Our culture is, somebody needs to just help wake this country up. It's so painful. And our people, our young persons are running away from this country when they should be here developing this country. And now they are shutting the doors against them. In fact, some of them are regretting living here now.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they are now realize that their own people need to get the job. So we need to go back to it with me. So that's how to say here, so that I can have everybody's voice. It's been quite a day.
Yeah, it's been quite a...
What I want to say is this. When you come there, it is important you embrace the people that are on the distance. You don't pretend as if maybe you are the most patriotic, the most knowledgeable about the distance. At the end of the day, most of them, by the time they leave office, they don't talk about tourism again.
So where's the passion?
Let me leave it at that.
All right, I like that. That's a cliffhanger. Prince.
Well, first of all, I would like to join everyone to pay my condolences to the Kano administration. However, I also look forward to opportunity where we can go back to the tourism master plan. It's very key, because that is the only way we can look at it that will be sustainable.
Okay. Okay. Andrew, sir.
Yeah, the last word coming from me is just to say that it's quite fortunate that we are where we are. We are in a lamentation land. We only hope and wish that the government get it right. What happened at the UN tourism election for the CGN, it shows the power of tourism. So I hope that Sunday we will realize the power of tourism that we have, but I hope it's not too late. Thank you.
All right, over to you, Otumba.
My own will be on the importance of tourism. As of today, it is projected that U.S. tourism is going to be losing over $22 billion simply because other countries are giving out traveling advisories for not traveling to the Americans anymore. So imagine what tourism does to an economy. $22 billion in 1 year, 11.6% decline as of March for international visitors to America because of Trump. So what are we saying in Nigeria? We are ready to take these visitors who can't go to America to come to our country. Thank you.
Thank you.
For me, I have nothing to say.
They've said it all. Okay, so today we'll be concluding our show on a nice, light-hearted note. It's been who is going to take us our music segment. We're replacing that with Adeshola Akewi. Take us out. And as she takes us out, we'll see you same time next week. That's Thursday, 10 a.m., same station, mainland 98.3 FM. Adeshola.
Adeshola Akewi moriba folodumare ọba. Ẹ̀rí nání ohun anílà anani. Ọmọ aláyàn ní nání ìlú bàbá tó gbé bí wọn lọ́mọ. Mo pé ẹjẹ́ àná ní orílẹ̀-èdè yóò jàre. Ẹ̀yin aṣáájú. Mo pé ẹjẹ́ parapọ̀ kájọ́ ṣe o. Ẹ̀rí igi kan tẹ́ẹ̀rí yẹn dàgbò ṣe àfi ká parapọ̀ kájíjọ gbé lárugẹ. Mo pé ẹ bá ràn gbogbo wọn lọ́wọ́ pátápátá. Ẹ̀rí gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀ka ìrìn àjò afẹ́ mo pé wọ́n kúkú ń ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun. Ẹ jẹ́ á gbé wọn lárugẹ ká ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ ká gbárùkù tí wọ́n ò jàre. Pé ẹ jẹ́ ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ o kó lè bá dáa. Ẹ̀rí mo ṣetán tí wọ́n fètò rọ̀. Ayò gbà mí ń bá ní kí n máa sọ̀rọ̀ yìí dọ̀ọ̀la ọjàre. Ẹ̀rí ẹ̀yin là máa bá àwa là máa wá. Ẹ̀rí kó wá nípa kankan nínú wa ọjàre mo pọ́ di ìgbà o.